Wholetail versus wholesale, which is better? By the end of this video, guys, you're gonna not only understand the difference between the wholesale and the wholetail, but why it's actually important that you know both exit strategies, especially if you want to survive in today's economy. Now guys, stick with me till the end because not only do I have a free gift for each one of you, but also I'm gonna talk in depth a little bit more about this wholetailing that's new to many of you and how, if it's done wrong, can actually bring more trouble to your business than good. First and foremost, let's break down this wholesale process that we're talking about. What is it and what do we mean by it? For those that are new to my channel, first and foremost, hit that subscribe button because I go in depth a lot about wholesaling. This is something I've been doing for years and I absolutely love it. So what is the wholesale process? Essentially, what you're doing is you're the deal finder. You're marketing to these off-market properties, and it's usually a property that is in a distressed situation, or maybe the seller's in a distressed situation. Ultimately, what you're doing is you're meeting with these homeowners. You're finding a way to be a solution. If they're behind on taxes, finding a way to help pay off their taxes as part of it, or homes that are distressed that you can buy it as is, or that you're buying it with cash, or that you can close quickly. These are just some of the solutions as a wholesaler that you can present to these homeowners. Now, the byproduct is you can get these homes at 40, 50 cents on the dollar. And you might be asking me, Cody, how is that possible? Guys, I've been doing this for years now to the point where I do this in multiple states and do about 10 to 15 deals each and every month. Now, what do you do once you have these homes under contract? Ultimately, the best thing to do is have a cash buyers list. Now, don't think too much about that because if you can find smoking hot deals, cash buyers are gonna be looking for those deals all the time. And there's simple ways to get in contact with these cash buyers so you can present them these deals. Now, what do you do now? Essentially, you sell them your contract. You're right. So if this piece of paper right here was the contract, I put under contract with the homeowner, and let's say I put the home under contract at $100,000. And let's say it's worth $200,000. There's this $100,000 difference that once it's all fixed up, once it's all repaired, they can sell it for 100 grand more than what I put under contract for. So what do? I mark it up maybe $10,000, $15,000 and I look for a cash buyer. And I simply say, hey, I've got this contract right here that allows you to purchase the home at 123 Main Street, and I sell them the rights to this contract, and let's say I put it in for $115,000. Ultimately, this cash buyer, he's gonna bring $115,000 to the title company or to the closing attorney. The closing attorney or title company is gonna cut a check for $100,000 to the seller, who I put under contract with, and there's this $15,000 difference. Me, the wholesaler, I get that. That's called an assignment fee. Now guys, as you get really good at this, and many of you might be looking at this, especially with this title, we're talking the difference between wholesale and wholetail. Many of you might know what the wholesale process is. I love it. This is something I'm able to do anywhere from 10 to 15 deals religiously every single month by marketing to people. And on average, because of the market we live in, what used to be maybe a $18,000 to $20,000 average that you would make per deal, we're making anywhere from $30,000 to $32,000 on average every single deal. But what about the deals that you come across that are, you start to question, man, is there a way I could make more money on this? And in this market, yes, there is. And it's called wholetailing. So let's break that down right now. Wholetail is something simple. I don't want you to overthink it. I don't want you to get all bogged down by this whole word. It might be new to you. You're like, wholetail? What does that mean? Is that the actual hotel that you stay in? No, wholetail is just the word wholesale and the word retail. And you bring them together and get wholetail. What does that mean? You're still gonna be the deal finder. You're still gonna be the one that's going out there looking for off-market properties directly to the seller, and you're gonna put them under contract at a discount. But instead of assigning it, remember we talked about that contract where you can just simply assign it for a fee to a cash buyer. Instead, what you're doing is you're looking for that retail part, right? You're looking for a retail buyer, one that's gonna pay top dollar, one that's not looking for it as the investment of fixing and flipping it, but retail buyers, they're absolutely your highest paying buyer in this market. Let me break this down in a story, for example. A home that we just recently did right here in Utah, in our backyard. This is in a city that typically in most people's minds would be like, okay, this is further out west. This is a city that doesn't go for much money. But at the end of the day, what we did is we put this home under contract at $250,000. Now we knew instantly this home, just because of the market that we're in and just recent sales. So we had some great comps of what this home could be worth. The home looked like it would sell for right around $350,000 once it was all fixed up. So what did we do? So on this specific deal, we could have made $10,000 to $15,000 doing just a straight wholesale deal, right? Where we find a cash buyer, assign him the contract, he goes to closing, we make $10,000 to $15,000. But instead we're thinking, wait a second. This home, yeah, it's not an awful repair. It probably needed about $35,000 to fix up. But we thought, man, this is the market. This is something that we want to try this wholetail process. See if there's a retail buyer that we can market up more than just that assignment fee. So instead of selling it for $265, we were thinking, wait a second. What if we put this on the market to a retail buyer at $295? They could look at it and say, hey, typically this market's going for $350. I'm getting this $50,000 difference right now. We'll do the fix up, we'll do this equity, and we'll make this nice, but we're getting in at 50 grand less than what the market is charging. Ultimately what we did, we just cleaned it out because it was like clutter everywhere. There was garbage everywhere. The people that had been living there left boxes all over. They left majority of their stuff. They literally, I think, just picked up maybe a handful of clothes, a bag, and left, and all the furniture, everything was left behind. That made us where we had to really take some time. We spent about $5,000 to hire a company to come in, clean out all the furniture, clean out all the garbage, all the boxes, all the leftover crap, right, that was left in this home. And we ended up just cleaning the carpets and touching up all the paint on the walls. So just something simple. It wasn't anything too high. We weren't replacing the flooring. We weren't doing any remodels. We didn't redo the bathroom or the kitchen. Just simple fix-ups. And then we simply put it on the MLS. Now guys, here's the greatest part that took place. Within 3 days, we had a ton of activity. We had a ton of people going out on these showings, looking at the home, and what? Our highest paying buyer, which is our retail buyer, and we got a ton of offers on this home. Ultimately, guys, here's what took place. What we thought we'd get maybe $295, that's what we started it at on the MLS. This bidding war took place, and we ultimately sold this home for $350, what it would be worth after they spent $35,000 in repair. Why? Because it was a crazy market. Now, more importantly, you might think, well, how did it appraise for that? How can they buy it for something that it's not worth? How are they going to get a loan? The individual that bought it from us was one that had a house just a few doors up and wanted the daughter to live close by. So he paid it in cash. All in all, when everything was said and done, instead of just making a simply like $10,000 to $15,000 assignment, which we could have done and we could have moved it super quick, we ended up turning this into like an $80,000, $85,000 profit when everything was said and done by just simply investing a little bit of time, a little bit of money, and just putting it back on the market. Now guys, as you're listening to some of these strategies, wholesale versus wholetail, what I want you to do is comment down below. I want to know, what are your big questions around wholesaling and wholetailing? Now guys, I do read each and every one of these comments. I'm always replying to them and seeing how I can add value to your wholesaling businesses. So comment down below and I'll be sure to read them. Knowing these two strategies just allows you to maximize how much money you're going to make on the exit. So having a little bit more than just your wholesale strategy allowed us to make a lot more money because we did the wholetail strategy. Now, there are 4 things that I want to make sure you're aware of, because if you're going to get into this wholetail side, yes, there's that reward potential that you can make more money, but it also comes with some risk. So let me share with you 4 quick strategies right now that you make sure you do them right so it doesn't bring trouble to your business. The first one is get insurance on this property. You are going to be the owner for the next 30, 60, 90 days while you do a light little cleanup, put it back on the market. Now, we have seen people where they didn't get insurance, and we've had one where homes burnt down, or there's been theft going on in the house, and there was nothing to back it up. So be sure, if you're going to do the strategy, get some insurance on this home. Number 2, switch utilities in your name. Again, you're gonna be owning this home for 30, 60, 90 days. There's nothing worse than not switching over the gas, the power, the water, and then when you show the home, the agents are showing all these retail buyers your home, and they have no power to turn on. They can't see it because everything's been shut off because you forgot to switch utilities in your name. Number 3, especially if it's wintertime, make sure that heat is on. You do not want pipes to burst. Now, when a home is vacant, most insurance companies will not cover anything that happens to a vacant home. So make sure you do everything on your part to protect your home, and you do not want frozen pipes, bursting water, because that's not covered on the policy. So make sure you keep that heat nice and hot. And number 4, Because there are FHA home buyers out there, understand that there are regulations and rules behind that mortgage. Meaning, if an FHA home buyer wants to buy your home, one of the laws is you have to have that home. It has to be what they call a seasoning period. You have to own the home for 90 days before you can resell it. That means when you thought you could hurry and quickly put it back on the market and quickly make money, if it's an FHA home buyer, that just slowed this up. So make sure you understand the cost of, if you're borrowing money, like hard cash money, what are those costs? What's the cost of insurance? What's the cost of doing this deal? Because now instead of 30 days, it's gonna take 90 days. Now you do have options during this time that in this great market that we're living in, that you can say, hey, we love your offer, but are you able to switch it to a conventional loan? Because of this FHA holdback, I don't want to hold on to this property for another 60 days so I can sell it to you when I have other cash buyers that want this. And you'll see that there's many FHA home buyers that will switch their loan to a conventional loan so they can still close on this deal. Now guys, as a free gift to each one of you, I have included a link down in the description. It's to my crash course called Bad Properties, Big Profits. And really what this is just ways to go out right now, today, whether you have a budget or no budget, and locate these distressed properties, these distressed homeowners, so that you can do a deal in the next 30 days.